Hi, everyone, and welcome to another enlightening episode of The Dungeon Crashers. I'm Guy.
And I'm Zapil. Before we get started, let's remember to like and subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our great D&D content. Today, we are going to be doing a build for Liam Giffen, who wants a Scribe Wizard multiclass. He wasn't very specific about anything else, which is fun because it leaves a lot of room for our creativity.
And this is a fun build for me because I'm kind of particular about multiclassing wizards. I think there are a lot of classes that can benefit from taking a few wizard levels, but there aren't many classes that wizards benefit from taking levels in. It's also interesting for role-playing reasons because wizards spend large amounts of time studying their art, so it seems weird to have someone suddenly become a wizard. Some people make the case that a wizard starting out with one level of fighter is good because it gets them martial weapons, heavy armor, and proficiency with constitution saves. Mechanically, this is great, but it means you start out with a smart but otherwise mediocre fighter, and then at second level you suddenly remember you've studied magic since you were a child and have this spellbook you forgot you were carrying around. I'm not saying it shouldn't be done, just that it should involve some backstory and role-playing to explain it. So I'm going to be putting a lot more detail into the character's backstory and personality than I normally do in our builds, but if you decide to play this character, feel free to use whatever history suits you in your campaign.
Yeah. One of the best features for Scribe Wizards is their ability to alter the damage type of their spells, and we want to capitalize on that by taking Elemental Adept feat. And we'll be using Variant Human as the race, so we can get this right from first level. This feat is also going to be a big part of the character's identity, and we are going to really build around it. The Elemental Adept feat allows you to choose an element, and we are taking Fire. Spells you cast that use this element ignore resistance to this damage type and but not immunity, And you also can reroll 1s and 2s on the damage dice done with this element. In addition to the starting feat, humans also get a bonus skill proficiency, and we are going to be taking Perception. We aren't going to have a high wisdom, but we want to be the guy that notices things, so Perception proficiency will help with that. Humans get 2 +1 ability bonuses, and you can't put them on both on the same stat. For abilities, we'll be using the point buy and putting 8 in strength. We are a scholar and not physically strong. 14 on dexterity because we are skilled with tools and coordinated. 15 on constitution, making it 16 with the racial bonus. We may not be strong, but we are healthy. And we also put a 15 on intelligence and making it 16 with the racial bonus. This is our most important ability for both of our classes and for our roleplay and backstory. A 10 on wisdom and an 8 on charisma. For all the studying, hasn't given us much opportunity to develop our social skills.
And for background, we're going to customize the Sage background to make an Alchemist background. We want the feature from Sage that gives us relationships with other scholars and the ability to find rare information, but we need a slightly different skill set. Sages get Arcane and History. We're going to switch the History for Investigation, allowing us to better find out things we need to know. Sages get 2 languages known, but instead we're going to take 1 language and a tool proficiency to get herbalist supplies. We're flavoring this character as a devoted student of all things magical, and he starts his training with herbalism. The language we're going to take depends on the campaign. We're taking Primordial because we're a student of the elements, and this is the language that elementals speak. However, in other campaigns we might choose differently. In the Forgotten Realms we might take Elvish or Netherese. In Eberron, Draconic, or perhaps Giant. Check with your DM and pick a language that ancient magical texts are likely to be written in. At first level we take Artificer, getting 2 skills from the list. We're going to take Medicine and Nature. We have put a great deal of study into herbs, venoms, and other natural things. We also get proficiency with Thieves' Tools. Even though we have focused on academic disciplines, we are very familiar with mechanical devices. We also get an artisan tool of our choice, and we are taking Alchemist supplies, which have so far been the focus of our education. Our academy also requires basic martial training, and we are proficient with light and medium armor, simple weapons, and shields. These will be very useful for when, for whatever reason, we leave the lab and get caught up in an adventure. We lack the strength for most weapons, but are clever with a dagger. We want medium armor, starting with scale mail, but eventually wanting half plate. No hurry on that though, it's expensive and only 1 point better than scale. We will probably be spending our early money on making potions and copying spells. We also get a light crossbow and a pretty good shot, so it's worth carrying, although we will usually attack with cantrips and will want to be using a shield. Artificers also get proficiency with constitution and intelligence saves. Con saves are great for a caster, but not getting wisdom saves can be a drawback.
Artificers also get magical tinkering, allowing them to put minor effects into mundane items, doing all kinds of fun and often useful things. How this works is in the Artificer class description. Artificers are also spellcasters, and Artificer must use a tool of some sort as a spell focus, either our Thieves' tools or maybe a flask or a beaker full of glowing fluid. At second level, we will get an Infused item feature. We can use one of our Infused items as a focus instead. Our casting is intelligence-based and uses the intelligence modifier for spell attacks, and save DCs. We start with 2 cantrips and 2 first-level spell slots. We are a prepared caster and can prepare any spell on the Artificer list and can prepare a number equal to half our Artificer level rounded down, but at least 1 plus our intelligence modifier. For cantrips, we want Firebolt. Fire is our thing, and with our Element Adept feat, this will be an excellent weapon throughout our career. We also want Guidance. We will be making use of our skills frequently, so this helps out a lot. We can prepare 4 spells. We are a ritual caster, so we should prepare Detect Magic and Identify is also useful to have. Absorb Elements is an excellent defensive reaction and fits with our elemental theme. Cure Wounds is also great to have, and it fits with our proficiencies with Herbalism and Medicine. At second level, we'll be continuing with Artificer, getting the ability to infuse items with magic. There are a lot of rules with this in the Alchemist's description found in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, but essentially you'll learn 4 infusions. Also found in that book, and after a long rest, you can infuse 2 non-magical items with one of these infusions. If you try to fuse a third item, the oldest infusion fades and the new one takes its place. For the first, we want Enhanced Defense, which we are going to use on our shield, making it a +1 shield and allowing us to use it as our spell focus. We still need a free hand to cast spells, but that's fine. We aren't going to be using our dagger much. For the second, we want Replicate Magic Item, which allows us to choose 1 magic item found on a list, also found in Tasha's, and turn a normal item into a magic item. Instead of choosing from the list, we can also choose from the common magic item, and that's what we are going to do. We want to spell Rot Tattoo, also found in Tasha's, which allows us to craft an ink containing a spell and apply it as a tattoo to ourselves or someone else. That person also expend the tattoo and cast a spell without magical components. Ideally, our DM will let us reflavor this to an elixir instead. It wouldn't have much mechanical difference, it just fits our character concept better, but if not, we still want it. At common, we can choose to either one that does a cantrip or one that does a first level spell, and we want the first level one. After every long rest, we create one of these and give it to a friend or use it on ourselves, and once we expend it, we can craft another after our next long rest. For our other 2 infusions, Goggles of Night would be handy since we don't have dark vision, and the Alchemy Jug would also be very appropriate.
And at third level, we take our final level of Artificer. We could take 1 more and get an ability boost, but then we wouldn't get 9th level spells as a wizard, and Scribe Wizard with Meteor Swarm is pretty great. However, if you don't care about that, go ahead and take 4 levels of Artificer and adjust the rest of this build accordingly. Third level Artificers get their specialty, and we are taking Alchemist. We're taking this mostly for roleplay purposes. It suits the character we're trying to make here, but really the abilities aren't impressive. Most of what we actually want from Alchemist, we get from the core class. First, we get Proficiency with Alchemist supplies, or since we already have that, a tool of our choice, and we're going to take Poisoner supplies. We're going to prove on this later, but for now it's still pretty good, depending on your DM's attitude about both poison and crafting, but it fits our character regardless. We also get Alchemist spells, which we always have prepared and don't count against the number we can prepare. The 2 we get are Healing Word and Ray of Sickness. Healing Word is both fitting for us and always a great spell to have. It would also be a good one to put in a spell Rot Tattoo. Ray of Sickness can be a powerful attack if you get them poisoned, and it is nice to have if we run into something immune to fire, since it deals necrotic damage, which is rarely resisted. We also get Experimental Elixir, allowing us to create a potion after every long rest, determined randomly from a table. All of these are pretty good, but being random means you are likely to get one that won't help you in a given situation. You can also make extra elixirs by spending spell slots. These elixirs only last until you finish a long rest, so it's hard to stock them up. We also get another first level spell slot. At 4th level, we are multiclassing to Wizard. In our travels, we've been studying arcane texts, visiting sages, doing research, and taking notes, and by this time we've compiled a working knowledge of wizardry, and our notes have become a serviceable spellbook. Our scholar friends take an interest in encouraging our magical studies. As a wizard, we are also a prepared caster and can prepare spells from a spellbook. Our spellbook starts with 6 spells in it, And we are a ritual caster, and a wizard can cast a ritual spell if they don't have it prepared, as long as it's in their book. So we went Detect Magic, Identify, and Find Familiar. All are ritual spells, and a familiar can be a huge asset for a wizard. I would take something that can fly, but really anything that suits your character. We want Shield for defense, and Burning Hands for attack, because fire's our thing. Magic Missile is another good attack spell, and does force damage, which will be useful if we find something immune to fire. We can prepare a number of spells equal to our wizard level plus our intelligence modifier. As a multi-class caster, our number of spell slots are different than a straight caster. The table for this can be found on page 165 of the player's handbook. Currently we have 4 first level slots and 2 second, but we don't have any second level spells, but can use these to upcast our first levels. We get 3 cantrips known. We want Message because it's just overall useful. Mind Sliver to give us 3 things. We need a cantrip that works on things that are immune to fire, using psychic damage, which is rarely resisted, and it's a saving throw cantrip that targets intelligence, which is often a weak save for monsters. And it reduces a target's save against the next spell we cast. The third could be whatever you like, but I like Minor Illusion because it comes in handy in so many situations. We also get Arcane Recovery, allowing us to recover half our level worth of spell slots on a short rest.
Yeah. At 5th level, we'll be taking 2nd level of Wizard, and our scholar friends invite us to join their order. The Order of the Scribes, also found in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. You gain the ability to create magic quill that has several powers. It doesn't require ink and writes in a color of your choice. The time you scribe spells in your book is reduced by 1 hour per level to 2 minutes per level, although the cost doesn't change. You can erase anything you have written with the quill by waving your feather over it as long as it's within 5 feet of you. Also, your notebook turned spellbook that has been your constant companion throughout your adventures and studies becomes awakened and a sentient being, and also has a number of abilities. You can use it as a spellcasting focus, and once per day you can cast a ritual using its normal casting time instead of 10 minutes. Most importantly for us, we can alter the formula of any wizard spell we cast by replacing its damage type with a type from another spell in our spellbook of the same level of the spell slot we use to cast it. This means we can alter any damage spell we have to fire to take advantage of our Elemental Adept feat. And if we encounter a creature immune to fire or vulnerable to a particular element, we can alter our spells to an element that would likely be effective against it. We also add 2 spells to our spellbook, and the first we want is Chromatic Orb. It's not only a great spell in its own right, it also has several damage types in its description, allowing us to turn our Burning Hands or Magic Missile into Acid, Lightning, Thunder, Cold, etc. For the second spell, I like Ice Knife because it's an area of effect and deals 2 damage types, Cold and Piercing, which we could change both to fire or to be cool, turn one to lightning and the other to thunder, or one to acid and one to poison. Ice Knife is also a piercing damage, which is unusual for a spell. Maybe not often useful, but piercing damage on Burning Hands could be cool, like a spray of needles or broken glass. We also get another 2nd level spell slot and can prepare 1 more spell, wizard spell.
At 6th level, we take 3rd level wizard, finally getting 2nd level spells, and we can add 2 to our spellbook. Both are going to be damage spells. Scorching Ray because it's a great spell overall and fire's our thing, and Rhyme's Binding Ice from Fitzfin's Treasury of Dragons, which is a cone area effect which does great damage to those that fail a Constitution save and immobilize them in ice. We can alter this to a fire spell to take advantage of Elemental Adept, and say instead of ice they are restrained in cold or something. We can prepare 1 more wizard spell and now have 2 3rd level slots for upcasting our lower level spells. At 7th level we take 4th level wizard, getting an ability boost which we will gladly take on intelligence, improving our spell attacks and save DCs, and because we boosted intelligence and gained a level, we can pair 1 additional Artificer spell and 2 more wizard spells. We get 2 more spells added to our book. We aren't using a lot of concentration yet, so I would take Blur for defense. And we can even fit this into our fire theme by saying it looks like heat radiating off us. For the second, something that will give us another damage type. Cloud of Daggers and Maximilian's Earth and Grass can both be useful battlefield control spells that we could alter to fire damage, and they give us access to slashing and bludgeoning damage respectively for our 2nd level slots. A bludgeoning Scorching Ray could look like you're blasting a stalactite out of your hand, and a slashing Binding Ice could look like a cone of blades that pins enemies in place. Tasha's Mind Whip would give us access to psychic damage that we could turn into Rays or Cone, And we could use it change to fire damage while still getting the benefit of denying them actions and reactions. Call it Mind Fire or Brain Scourge. We learn another cantrip here, and Poison Spray is an excellent damage dealer.
Yeah.
Also remember, we are a scribe wizard. We should be using every opportunity to add spells to our spellbook. Buying scrolls, researching in libraries, paying other wizards to copy from their book, anything your DM will allow. Costs money, of course, but you don't have a lot of other expenses, and your quill saves you time when doing it. Also, during downtime, you can be using herbalism to craft healing potions, poisoner's supplies to stock them on poisons, and alchemist tools to make various alchemical items. Work with your DM to see what you can come up with.
Yeah. At 8th level, we'll be taking 5th level of Wizard, getting our 3rd level spells. We obviously want Fireball because it's great and we like fire. For the 2nd, let's get another damage type and something useful that we can change into fire damage, like Thunderstep, giving us a nice teleport effect that deals thunder damage that we could change to fire, and it gives us thunder damage that we could switch on our Fireball if we have enemies that are immune to fire or vulnerable to thunder. Another good choice could be Vampiric Touch, allowing us to use fire to drain hit points off enemies and heal ourselves, or turn our Fireball into a Necrotic Death Blast. We can also prepare one more spell, and we have one more 4th level spell slot. At 9th level, we take 6th level of Wizard, getting in a new feature from our Order of Scribes, which is called Manifest Mind. It allows you to have the mind of your spellbook appear within 60 feet of you. It is an intangible and looks like a tome or a cascade of text or an image of a historic scholar. Your choice. It can see and hear, has dark vision, can communicate with you telepathically, and you can use a bonus action to move it 30 feet. You can also cast spells as if you were in its space using its senses. The rules are found in the description of the Order of the Scribes and Tashas, and you will want to read them to make sure you know how all of this works. We get another 4th level spell slot and another spell we can prepare, and 2 more spells added to our spellbook. Let's take Blink for a powerful defense that doesn't require concentration. Another fun spell is Asdralons Stride from Fitzman's Treasury of Dragons. It increases your speed by 20 feet, and you don't provoke attacks of opportunity from moving, and whenever you move within 5 feet of a creature, it takes 1d6 fire damage. This works anytime you move within 5 feet of a creature, so you can run around hurting multiple enemies while still casting other spells. The fire damage works with your Elemental Adept feat, and you can change the damage into Thunder or Necrotic if you prefer. You can also be upcast, getting an extra 5 feet of movement and an extra 1d6 damage for every spell slot above 3rd. So this can be really worth using your 4th level spell slots for. At 10th level, we'll be taking 7th level of Wizard, getting access to 4th level spells, and adding 2 to our book. We also can prepare one more spell and have a 5th level spell slot available. For spells, the first is Summon Elemental from Tasha's. We want it for 3 reasons. First, it is a very good summon, getting a very, very powerful creature, whichever element you choose. Second, as we do a lot of elemental stuff, we should be able to summon them. And third, fire damage is mentioned in the spell description, which gives us access to that damage type. The second spell will be Phantasmal Killer. If the target fails on a wisdom save, it is frightened of you for the duration and must save again on each of its turns or take 4d10 psychic damage, which you can change to fire, going into all like Freddy Krueger on them. If they do the saves, the spell ends, and you can use it on things that don't do well with wisdom saves.
And at 11th level, we take 8th level Wizard for another ability booster feat. If your DM has been cool with the poison thing, then take the Poisoner feat. Make sure attacks ignore resistance to poison damage. This would also work on any spell you have given the poison type to. You can coat a weapon with poison as a bonus action, which you could use on your dagger, or better on the weapon of the party's rogue or big stupid fighter. And you can use your poisoner supplies and 50 gold pieces to make doses of poison that deal 2d8 damage and make the target poisoned. Poisoned is a really good status to inflict on an enemy, giving them disadvantage on just about everything. This feat is also in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, and you will want to read the description for details. We can also prepare another spell, get another 5th level slot, and learn 2 more spells. We want Blight, which is a good damage attack that also gives us access to necrotic damage at this level, and can be converted to fire. Another fun one is Elemental Bane, which allows you to choose a damage type from among Acid, Cold, Fire, Lightning, or Thunder, and if the target fails a Constitution save, it takes an extra 2d6 damage the first time it is damaged by that type each turn, and loses resistance to that type. Best for us, 5 damage types appear in that description. We get access to all of them to modify our 4th level spell slots with. And of course, we still want fire whenever possible.
Yeah.
And at 12th level, we take 9th level wizard, getting access to 5th level spells. We can prepare 1 more spell a day, and we get 1 6th level spell slot. We also get 2 spells added to our book. The first one we want is Summon Draconic Spirit from Tasha's. Not only is it an excellent summons, the description lists 8 damage types, which we will have access to for our 5th level spell slots. The second is Steel Wind Strike. It allows us to teleport around, attacking things with our dagger, doing 6d10 force damage to whatever we hit. Of course, we could make this cold, radiant, psychic, lightning, necrotic, etc. And of course, this includes force, and includes fire, and we will probably be doing that, and calling it Fire Wind Strike. How this spell works exactly is found in the description in Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
At 13th level, we're taking 10th level of Wizard, getting Master Scriviner from the Order of Scribes. This lets us create a scroll after every long rest of a first or second level spell. This spell is cast as if it was 1 level higher. Only you can use this, and it vanishes after you use it or take a long rest. So you can't stockpile them, but at worst, this gives an extra spell per day. It can make a scroll of any spell in your book, so if you have something with expensive components, you can bypass that by putting it on a scroll. You are also better at scribing magical scrolls. The time and gold you spend to do so is halved if you use your wizardry quill, so you can stockpile these. Also talk to your fellow party members as you are making potions, poisons, alchemy items, and now scrolls. If you haven't already, you should convince them to contribute party funds to pay for all of that, because it is definitely cheaper than buying them. We also could prepare another spell and get 2 more added to our book. Cloudkill is sometimes a difficult spell to use, but it's great when it works, and it adds poison damage to our options for our 5th level slot. And you now ignore poison resistance, which is pretty common at this level. Synaptic Status is a great spell, both to debuff a crowd of enemies and deal a good amount of psychic damage, or another type of damage you would like to change it to, like fire. We also get another cantrip known and either another attack roll cantrip with a different damage type like Ray of Frost or Chill Touch, or another saving throw cantrip that targets a different save like Shocking Grasp or Toll the Dead. At 14th level, we were taking 11th level wizard, getting access to 6th level spells and a 7th level spell slot. We can also prepare another spell and add 2 more to our book. The first we are going to take is Investiture of Flame. It isn't a bad spell, but is mostly taking it because it is the only way we can get fire damage into our book for our 6th level slot. We can use that damage type to modify our second spell, Disintegrate, which is an absolutely great damaging spell and will even be better if we make it fire and the target is immune to fire. It already does force damage, which isn't exactly resisted.
And at 5th level, we take 12th level wizard, getting an ability boost, which will cap off our intelligence. We can prepare 1 more spell and get 2 more added to our book. Mental Prison from Xanathar's is an upgraded Phantasmal Killer that really disables an enemy and dishes out repeating psychic damage, or fire if you prefer. For a multiple target damage spell, take Chain Lightning, which is not only good, but it adds lightning damage to our options, and of course we can switch it to do fire or psychic if we want. At 16th level, we take 13th level wizard. We get access to 7th level spells and can prepare 1 more a day and add 2 to our book. We also get 1 8th level spell slot. For our 7th level spells, first we want Prismatic Ray, which is a powerful spell in its own right, and gives us access to fire, acid, lightning, poison, and cold damage. Fire and poison are both really good for us, but it's nice having all of them. Whirlwind is a fun spell that can restrain and toss around enemies. It also deals bludgeoning damage, which you can change to fire, poison, or whatever. A whirlwind of fire is just about the coolest thing I can think of doing right now. At 17th level, we take 14th level wizard. From Order of Scribes, we get 1 with the word, which lets us prevent all damage from a source, but we temporarily lose access to 3d6 levels of spells from our book. A stiff price, but can often be worth it. Also, you can't prepare those spells from other sources either, so if you have a captured enemy spellbook, it won't help with this. We also can prepare 1 more spell and get 2 more added to our book. Finger of Death gives us a powerful attack that can also make a zombie. Check with your DM to see what a zombie will look like if you make this Finger of Fire or a Finger of Poison. This also adds a necrotic to our list of damage types for our 7th level spell slots. We also want Teleport because at this level it's just about necessary. And at 18th level, we take 15th level wizard. We get access to 8th level spells and get a 9th level spell slot. We can prepare one more spell a day and add 2 to our book. First, we want Illusory Dragon. The illusion it creates is a powerful force, and it gives us access to acid, cold, fire, lightning, necrotic, and poison damage. Abidazm's Horn Wilting gives us a powerful 30-foot radius blast of necrotic damage, or fire, or poison, etc.
Yeah. At 19th level, we'll be taking 16th level of Wizard, getting an ability boost or feat, and let's bump up that Constitution for better concentration and more hit points. We can prepare another spell and add 2 more to our book. Sunburst is another area of effect spell that blinds enemies and deals 12d6 radiant damage, or of course fire, poison, etc. Dominate Monster is a great spell that can just win encounters, but beware of creatures with legendary resistance. Dominate their most powerful minion instead. At 20th level, we finish this build with 17th level Wizard, and we can prepare another spell and get access to a 9th level spells and add 2 more to our book. First, we want Meteor Swarm. Why do you think we came all this way? It is an absolute crusher of a spell. You target 4 points within range and blow up a 40-foot radius from each point, dealing 20d6 fire damage and 20d6 bludgeoning damage to every creature in the radius, although if the areas overlap, a creature will only get blasted by 1. The damage reaches around corners, and the target gets a dexterity save for half damage, and we can of course modify either or both of those damage types. To do that, we are going to take Prismatic Wall. It is the best wall in the game and can be used to contain and divide enemies. You can make allies immune to it, and you can make it into a sphere that you and your allies can stay safely in and come out to attack whenever you like, or you could trap enemies inside that sphere. Each color of the wall protects you from a different attack and has a different means of destroying it. The colors also have different damaging effects, which include fire, acid, lightning, poison, and cold. Imagine turning your Meteor Swarm into a thunder that deals thunder and lightning damage, or a sludge swarm that deals acid and poison damage. And now we're taking mastery. Now we're talking about the mastery of elements.
Definitely. This is probably my favorite wizard build so far, both flavorful and powerful. I hope Liam Giffen likes it as much as I do. Everyone, please tell us what you think in the comments. We've been getting great feedback lately, and we love hearing it.
Definitely.
As always, you can make any build requests that you would like. And even though this build is running a little long, I think I should add a list of magic items that would look good for this character. As with every time I do this, I want to point out that the actual magic items you will get will depend on your DM. These are just things we think would work really well for this character. We give 20th level characters 1 very rare or legendary item, 2 rare, and 3 uncommon. At Legendary, we get a Ring of Fire Elemental Command. It has 5 charges and get back a d4 plus 1 each dawn. Spells cast from it have a DC of 17. It gives you advantage on attacks against fire elementals, and they have disadvantage on attacks against you. You resist fire and can speak Ignin. You can also spend 2 charges to cast Dominate Monster on a fire elemental. Once you awaken the ring by helping to kill a fire elemental, you also gain immunity to fire damage and can spend 1 charge to cast Burning Hands, 2 to cast Fireball, and 3 to cast Wall of Fire. This item uses one of our attunement slots. At Rare, we want the Alchemical Compendium, which you can use as a spellbook, and remember, with your wizardly Quill, you can easily transfer all of your spells into it. You can also use it as a focus for your wizard spells. It has 3 charges and gains a d3 back each day. You can spend 1 charge to replace one of your prepared spells with a transmutation spell from the book. When found, the book already has the spells Enlarge Reduce, Featherfall, Flesh to Stone, Gaseous Form, Magic Weapon, and Polymorph in it. You can also use the book to transmute one object into another for 1 charge per cubic foot of the object. You can turn one non-magical object into another one of equal or lesser gold piece value. This uses our second attunement slot. Also at Rare, let's get a Brazier of Commanding Fire Elementals. It allows us to conjure a fire elemental as a spell once per day. Doesn't require attunement, and a magic brazier will be a cool addition to our laboratory. At Uncommon, using our last attunement slot, we'll get a Cloak of Protection for a little more armor class. And while we're at it, let's get a suit of +1 half-plate along with our Infused Shield. This will give us an armor class of 22, which we can make 27 with the shield spell. This is pretty great for a wizard.
Yeah.
Lastly, considering everything we are likely to be carrying around, a bag of holding is pretty much essential.
Yeah. We have been getting a lot more subscribers lately, and we really appreciate it, so keep it up so we can start making money off this, you know. Just kidding. We just have fun doing this as a hobby and hopefully help people out. but still more subscribers is always better. This was a fun build for us, and I also think that you will like the next one. Funny enough, it's a Barbarian Rogue Bugbear, which the Deaderer commented wanting to see one in a previous video. So be sure to join us for that. Until next time,
Cheers.
cheers.